In this video, we'll be introduced to the concept of conditional probability. Conditional probability is the chance that an event will occur given that we know another event has occurred. In a previous video, we looked at contingency tables. In this contingency table, we see the breakdown of people, their political parties, and their genders. You may remember that probability is the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of possible outcomes. With that, we can find various probabilities from the contingency table. For example, to find the probability of selecting a male from this group, we see that there are 60 males, so our number of favorable outcomes is 60, and the total number of people is 130, so that is the number of possible outcomes. Conditional probability gets a bit more specific. For conditional probability, the number of possible outcomes is reduced to account for a specific category or categories. For example, what is the probability of picking a male if it is given that we know the person selected is a Democrat? Since we know the person selected is Democrat, the number of possible outcomes is no longer 130. The number of possible outcomes becomes 42. Since that is the number of Democrats. That means that the denominator for this probability is 42. Of these 42 people, 20 are male, so the probability of picking a male, given that the person selected is Democrat, is 20 out of 42. The notation for conditional probability is written in this way, where whatever is written after the line is what is given. Let's try another example. Find the probability that someone selected is Republican, given that the person is female. Recall that the category after the line is given. In other words, we know for certain that the person selected is female, so our denominator is 70. Of the 70 females, 16 are Republican, so our numerator is 16. Here's a summary of what we've learned. Probability is the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. Conditional probability focuses on a category or categories instead of the whole sample.